Hi and welcome to another Dan's Diagnostics YouTube video. Today we have got a Mark IV Ford Focus with a 1 litre EcoBoost and the engine management light is on. Let's get this one fixed. So as always we like to confirm the fault, so let's just start up the engine. And you can see there that the engine management light remains on. So let's get the diagnostic machine hooked up and see what fault codes we've got in it. Today we are going to use my trusty Snap-on Verus. You can see down here that it has not been updated for a number of years. Got the module plugged in. First things first is ignition on. Then go to scanner. Forward. And we just want to do code scan. See there in the PCM we've got a P0113 code. Intake air temperature sensor circuit high. Engine oil pressure control circuit open as well. What we'll do, we'll just have a look at this intake air temperature sensor 1 circuit high input for this video. And what we can do if we go back, we can go to data. We've got an intake air temperature sensor, actual temperature, and there's the voltage. So we can customize this list, deselect everything, and as we scroll it down, these two data PIDs, and there you can see now we've got intake air temperature sensor -40 and intake air temperature sensor is reading 5 volts. So straight away what we can see here is that we have an open circuit, or an open somewhere in the circuit. So what we'll do now is we'll grab a multimeter, we'll get underneath the bonnet and we'll do some checks from underneath there. So now we're underneath the bonnet, you can see we have identified our intake air temperature sensor. It's just a 2-wire sensor because this is only a thermistor circuit. What we need, digital multimeter, red lead into the voltage port for volts and ohms, and then our black lead goes into the COM port. The other end of the black we will fasten to the battery negative, and our red back probe, if we just go into the back of the wire, making sure our multimeter is turned on, see we get 5 volts on that wire, and if we back probe the other one we also get 5 volts. Right then, so what this is telling me now is that the wire from the PCM all the way to the sensor is in good condition. It's also telling me that the sensor itself is in good condition because the voltage is coming from the PCM through the wiring, through the sensor, through the circuitry, and out into the ground wire. So now we know we are chasing an open in the ground, and what we can do to find out which one the ground wire is if we just back probe the wire, see we get 5 volts. If we unplug it, see the connector is now disconnected and we've still got 5 volts. And just to show this, we go into the other wire, again 5 volts. When I disconnect it, we're now showing 0 volts. So now this is my ground wire. We now know we are chasing this yellow and grey wire. This will ground back through the PCM. So I'm just going to do something just to prove that it is a ground fault actually. Give me 2 ticks. So now I am connected into the back of the sensor, back probing the ground wire of the sensor. You can see all I'm going to do is I'm just going to touch, and there we go. I'm now becoming the ground for the sensor, and you can see the sensor is now reading absolutely perfectly fine. So now what we need to do is we need to remove the airbox and locate the open in the circuit, visual inspection, or we can use an open circuit finder. And what I'd like to point out, if you've noticed, the intaker temperature sensor is reading -40, the voltage is reading 5 volts. So open circuit is at 5 volts -40, higher the voltage, colder the temperature, and vice versa. So if that was at 0, that would read into the 100 degrees. These thermistor circuits typically work from 0.2 and 0.5 volts up to 4.5 volts, and that is selene for now. If you notice, we're now sat at 5 volts and it's thrown on the engine light saying we've got a high circuit. It's high because the voltage is high. It's a 5 volt reference circuit. So yeah, just one to look out for.